Bert Lee, who's in New York City.
Hey there, everybody. Once again, it's nice to be here at QuaranPalooza. And I didn't have time to do a sound check, so just real quick, how's the guitar level?
Perfect.
And my voice?
Your voice is great.
All righty. Mary Lou, it's funny that we should be playing so close to each other here because you offered a couple of songs about your grandfathers, and I'm about to do the same thing. I wanted to bring some songs in that I haven't played at QuaranPalooza before, and I actually wrote a new song just about a week and a half ago and revived an old song, and these are all part of a song cycle called Butterfly, Songs of the Haunted Prairie. And various stages of my grandfather's and family's lives are told in this cycle of songs. And enough said, that's what it's about. This first tune is called Butterfly, and it's about my grandfather's horse. Sort of a ghost story, so, you know, appropriate for Halloween. I have a little pony with star drops in her eyes. Her coat is black as Chinese silk, and I call her Butterfly. I ride her in the valley where the river waters sweet. She drinks it like a lady, and she prances with her feet. The eagle on the wing is chasing shadows in the sun, and lightning doesn't stand a chance when you see my pony run. Her mane flies out like fire when she's running with the wind, and I know she'll never throw me. That pony is my friend. I started out in Dallas, since that's where I was raised. Took up a life of gambling, and all of my luck be praised. I went out to California where the streets were paved with mud. I bought a pair of pistols and I learned to thrive on blood. I shot a man in anger over something that he said, and I had to give up gambling when the gold turned into lead. I left all that behind me, I'm running with the wind. I know they'll never find me, 'cause that pony is my friend. Well, I started out from Reno, but the desert got too big. I lost all my provisions and all my water dried. My pretty little pony fell down and broke a leg. I sent her to her maker and I laid down by her side. The buzzard on the wing is tracing circles in the sand, and a man cries out for water who's got diamonds in his hand. Now I've come to higher ground where the river's just begun, and I stand upon the mountaintop and watch my pony run. Well, I have a little pony, and I call her a Butterfly. Her coat is black as Chinese silk, and a saddle she denies. I ride her in the valley where the river water's sweet. She drinks it up like champagne wine and prances with her feet. I ride her in the hilly land where the river has just begun, and I stand up on the mountaintop and watch my ponies run. Calamity Jane comes down from the hills like the thunder and rain. A 6-gun goddess 5 bullets shy. No one can tell if her life is a lie. Comes down from the hills like the wild night wind. Everybody knows her, but she hasn't got a friend. She lives upstairs in the Deadwood bar. Dime novel hero and a rodeo star. Shoots down her dreams like bottles on a shelf. Standing at the mirror and talking to herself. Jane, Jane, tall as a crane. Who can believe and who can explain if her life is a legend or the legend is a lie? She shoots her pistol at the stars in the sky. Shoots her pistol at the stars in the sky. She rode with General Crook at Rosebud Hill. She shot like the devil, but she never made a kill. There's no need to kill him when the hard times will. She rode in the circus just to give them a thrill. Standing in the shadow and never took a spill. But they only came to see old Buffalo Bill. Calamity Jane, laying in bed with a fever in her brain, trying to sort out all the things she did from the things she did to the things she hid. But what is the truth and what is the lie? She shoots her pistol at the stars in the sky. Shoots her pistol at the stars in the sky. That was Butterfly and the Ballad of Calamity Jane. This song takes a little bit of one of my grandfather's lives and a little bit of another one of my grandfather's lives and mushes them together into a character called the Cowboy from Boston. It's a country western waltz sort of thing going on in there. By the way, Cabin 19. Ouch. Those people are fun. Well, he played an old fiddle made over Europe, recited the poets and quoted the bards, rode out of the east on a sway Appaloosa, a cowboy from Boston with a sleeve full of carbs, with a hey diddle ho riding high in the saddle, a pearl-handled pistol and a master's degree. 3,000 miles to the streets of Seattle to win his fine whistle on some fresh Chinese tea. East Coast goes west to meet Far East, you see. Good man or bad depends on just who is talking. He bluffed like a champion or he lied like a snake. The ladies all swooned when he twirled his mustaches, and they snuck out the back door to bring him some cake. With a hey diddle ho riding over the prairie, fancy pants holsters, real silver spurs. The music he fiddled was so fine and airy, looking up in the sky, he could name all the stars. He knew all his history and the generals and wars. Well, he rode down the coast to the West Texas border, to the Mexican desert where the summer was fierce. He got all caught up in the good revolution. He fought at the side of an old man named Beers. With a Viva Zapata he gave a loud holler, his gentleman's clothing all splattered with mud. He shot like a bandit, but he talked like a scholar. The cowboy from Boston, all hell-bent for blood. The cowboy from Boston won't come to no good. Well, not far from Houston, he stopped a stray bullet. Last words he said lifted right off the page. It was something he'd learned from the poet of Avon, how all men are players and life is a stage. With a Viva La Vida, that was how fate had planned it. There's no one can say once that hand rolls the bones. He talked like a scholar, but he shot like a bandit. The cowboy from Boston laying under some stone. The cowboy from Boston come a long way from home. Just a cowboy from Boston come a long way. And that's the cowboy from Boston.
Hi. Cowboys in Boston.
Say it again.
How many cowboys in Boston do you know?
Well, he wasn't in Boston. By the time that was happening, he was out in the Colorado Territory.
Gotcha.
He was running from the past, which is what everyone runs from, you know. And there were two of them. It was my grandfather on my father's side. Now, he came over from Ireland at the age of 12 to escape. And I'm talking about my grandfather, not my great-grandfather, to escape from what was going on over there, and didn't want to serve in the Civil War. So he went out west, and he had a short and not successful career as a stagecoach robber.
Oh.
Well, let's just say he robbed the wrong stagecoach and leave it at that. And
Oh dear.
how it turns out that is my grandfather and not my great-grandfather I'm talking about is they didn't even really start the family until he was in his 60s. So you see how generations can stretch out like a silly putty. But anyway, this tune is about his departure from Ireland. Descended from the high kings of Connaught I am. My shoes in Dublin, I borrowed a dead man's coat. I left it all behind me and I stowed on to a boat. I left it all behind me to be swallowed up by time. If they ever come to find me, I killed my father, but I only stole his name. He was murdered by a bottle, but I'll gladly share the blame. Murdered by a bottle, and maybe death has set him free. Now if I could only lose his ghost, mirror, and his ghost is in my mind. It's living underneath my skin, and it won't be left behind. I tried my best to kill it, but the damn thing never dies. It stands so hard above me with whiskey in its eyes. Here is my confession, for whatever it is worth. I'm haunted by my father, just like every man on earth. Haunted by my father, like every ordinary Jake. It stands so hard above me, like a storm about to break. I'm sailing to America just to find what might be found. I'll throw these memories overboard, and I'll pray that they stay drowned. I'll throw this baggage overboard to be swallowed by the sea. Now, I could only lose this ghost that hides inside of me. I left my shoes in Dublin. I borrowed a dead man's coat. I left the rest behind me, and I stowed onto a boat. I left the rest behind me to be swallowed up by time. If they ever come and find me, may they pardon me my crime.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Got a frog in my throat there. Oh. John, your horse there, your duck is giving me the side eye. Oh yeah, that's it.
He's always doing the side eye.
Yeah, things once seen that cannot be unseen. That duck is on the short list. Okay, so anyway, so that song's called Dead Man's Coat, and the reason it's called Dead Man's Coat is that my grandfather gave or indirectly gave my great-grandfather indirectly gave my grandfather a gray coat before he left Ireland, and the circumstances of which were pretty unpleasant. And my grandfather then brought it back to the States, but the Civil War was breaking out, and he was living in the North at that time. So having a gray coat that you wore around all over the place was probably not a good idea, added to the fact that he was Irish, which was never a good idea in New York at that time. So he headed out west, and he put the coat under the saddle as a sort of saddlecloth. And then he had all his crazy adventures there in the Western Territories. And then when he came back east to finish up his life, my grandmother, who had no patience for this tattered, dusty, torn old thing, gave it to the scarecrow in the backyard of our house. And when I came to visit my grandmother, she would always point out and tell me the story of this old gray coat. And one night I went out to rummage in its pockets to see if I could find, something amazing, like a treasure map or a love letter or, a recipe for peyote or something, something that he might have put in there. But in fact, all I could find in the pockets of the coat were the shells of crow's eggs, which means that as a crow-frightening accessory, the old thing wasn't very useful.
Hey, Bert,
So,
I don't mean to interrupt. Coming up in 3 minutes. Next,
2 minutes. I'll get right through this song.
Sorry.
Blackbird sitting on a fence post, laughing like he knows some kind of joke. I fail to see what's so funny. My whole world just went up in smoke. Won't you let me in on the joke? Scarecrow dancing in a cornfield, dancing while the wind blows him around. Sometimes I feel like that scarecrow watching over my dry patch of ground, while the wind just blows me around. There's a strange kind of music in the branches of the trees, like a song on a broken guitar. And those crows on the fence don't make any more sense than some crazy fools in a bar who sing a broke down honky tonk waltz, broke down honky tonk waltz. Blackbird fly away from my shoulder, blues fly away from my heart. I've had this shadow upon me, oh darling, since we've been apart. Ah, blues fly away from my heart. There's a weird melody that hangs in the breeze, like a calliope gone out of tune. And those crows sing a song that's all busted and wrong by the cold light of the old crooked moon. They sing a broke down honky tonk waltz, broke down honky tonk waltz, a broke down honky tonk. And that's it for me, and as my voice quietly dies on me, thank you once again, John, for letting me part of this wonderful event. Thank you, all of you, for your kind attentions. And if you want to hear more of my music, you can find me at bertlee.bandcamp.com, where all of my better recordings are parked, or on YouTube, Bert Lee, Bertlee. And God bless you all, and keep on making good music and doing things for good causes. Love you all.
Thank you, Bert.
We love you too.